For those of you that like language, there's lots of really dumb why questions in our language. Like, why do we drive on parkways but park on driveways? Why does quicksand work so slowly? Why do noses run but feet smell? All those deeply theological questions you can ask yourself. My favorite stupid why question, though, and I asked this of God. I yelled this in my head when I was 8 years old. I was sitting in church and I yelled, "Lord, why did you have to have where I'm sitting in church right now called a pew?" And the reason I yelled that in my head towards God, the reason I wanted to know why where we sit in church is called a pew, is because I accidentally, and I mean accidentally because I was raised in a strict Christian family, I had accidentally just farted in church. And unfortunately, it was a perfect storm because the pastor was a small congregation. The pastor had just paused in his sermon to make this great theological point. He paused so that everybody could see how bright and smart he was with that thing. And then this noise came out of a small child that probably physically shouldn't have, but it happened. And unfortunately, it wasn't one of these really rich congregations, you know, with the cushions on the pew there to absorb the blow. So this sound happened, and everybody looked at my family. And my mother, she looked at me, and flames came out of her eyes as she looked at me. So I did what you would do if you were honest. Don't judge me. I did what you would do in this situation. I tried to blame it on my dad. I'm like, but unfortunately, my mother knew who the perpetrator was, and so she grabbed my arm, pulled me close, and she said something to me through clenched teeth. I mean, spit was flying out through her teeth. And this is why I yelled at God. Some of you will get this like about a half an hour later, and that's okay, but this is why I yelled at God, "Lord, why? Why call it a pew?" Because she looked at me with anger and said, "Young man, if you do that again, you are going to sit in your own pew. Do you understand me?" And I had to look at her. And I couldn't laugh at what she had said. I had to just look at her. "Yes, ma'am. Yes, I understand that." About 3 minutes later, we're singing a hymn, and she realized what she said. You know, one of my favorite why questions, though, and you may have heard this before, I don't care, it's just one of my favorite ones, and it makes me laugh like 2 to 3 times a month, and you can tell I have kind of a sophomoric type sense of humor, but why are there Braille dots on the keypads of drive-up ATMs? I have a visually impaired friend. And I've said to him, "Man, it would be really scary if you were driving the car in front of me. That's just not right." And because of this now, I've noticed Braille dots on everywhere, and I'm for Braille dots. It's very important that they are there, but there's some times where they're in places that I don't know if they should be there. A couple months ago, I was in a church bathroom, and I was standing there washing my hands because only 20% of men wash their hands. Shame on you. But I was washing my hands, and I look over and I see the most unused piece of equipment in our culture today. And that is the diaper changing table in a men's restroom. I've never seen one that has even the seal broken on it at all. So I'm looking over at that, and I was like, "Yeah, that's just a dumb thing to put in here because nobody does." And then I noticed there's Braille dots on it. And I thought to myself, it's not a good idea for a guy to change a diaper if he can see well. But I don't think it's a good idea for the blind to be changing diapers. No. Why would we do that? I don't understand. Here's another one. Why are commercials so stupid? I mean, why do they insult our intelligence? There was one that I heard a while ago that I was brushing my teeth in the morning and the TV was on, and it said, "If you or a family member has been injured or experienced death by taking," and then they listed the pill, "call 1-800." How can you call if you're dead? Why would they insult our intelligence like that? It doesn't make any sense at all. Why? Now there's lots of